This new Kirblog is now on your feed. I hope you like it. That's just what I need. I've been listening to the Toy Story video game from 1995 soundtrack a lot while working this week while not streaming, which is really all I've been doing otherwise. There's actually not going to be a whole lot to say on this update, but yeah, this past week, for those of you who haven't been tuning in, I managed to stream almost every day of the week. In fact, this is actually the first time in a while I've had a video every day of the week, because I've got this today, and I think I'm going to be streaming tomorrow as well. So that's nice. It's been extremely productive, partially because I actually have not had any other voice recording this week. And even socially, I didn't have much going on. I was just able to spend time catching up on a bunch of stuff. Just to touch on that a little bit real quick. For those of you who haven't been tuning in to the streams daily or otherwise, I've been working on specifically the $90 tier characters from the Tome RPG Kickstarter. There were close to 100 of them in total, and I've got, I'd say about like 75 to 80% of them already finished. And I'm going to get close to completing them all by tomorrow, probably by next week or so. And that's been going very, very well, which is nice. But otherwise, a couple of things that have been happening this past week or so. Let's see. I've been watching lately the Dragon Ball Super dub, of course, finally just started the multiverse tournament, the Tournament of Power arc on Toonami recently. First of all, huge shout out. I mean, he'll never hear this, but huge shout out to Nate Wants to Battle, who I actually guessed correctly would be the one to sing the English version of Limit Break Survivor for the English dub. Was very happy with it. It was so, more than anything, it was actually so gratifying to finally hear somebody else's interpretation of the lyrics translated from the Japanese in a way that I didn't hate, because I basically don't like the lyrics of any other cover that I've heard on the internet, because I'm biased and have really high standards for how that kind of stuff is adapted. But I don't know if Nathan was the one who actually wrote the lyrics in particular, or if he just sang it. But either way, he did a fantastic job. That was lovely to hear. And it's interesting because, like, having already, spewed my guts out months ago about the Tournament of Power arc and what I thought about it, and I already know everything that's going to be happening with it. I'm still actually excited to watch all this stuff again, even not just for like the novelty of hearing the English voices and everything, but just in general, like, it's still kind of exciting, like seeing the whole lead up to it and everything. Of course, we've just heard the English voices of Caulifla and Kale in Xenoverse 2 on the DLC. Shout out to Dawn Bennett, friend of mine, who's voicing Kale. She does an excellent job. I can't wait to hear her, hopefully, in the show as well. And also, another major shout out, they just, I think like the other day, announced who a bunch of the Universe 9 characters were going to be. Majorly proud of the lovely and talented Mr. Chris Guerrero, who's the voice of Neo Mutant on Tome, is playing one of the Wolf brothers of the Trio de Dangers, Lavender, that is, which is funny because Neo Mutant hangs out in Lavendera a lot, doesn't he? Anyway, so that's really cool, getting to see that and everything, and I'm going to continue to watch that. By the way, if you hadn't already needed a reminder, Shao Poof is beginning to do his whole thing on Hunter x Hunter. He's been getting a lot more screen time lately, and we're kind of ramping up into all the crazy material for that as of late. So you can hear me on that. Other stuff that's been going on. Let's see. Last weekend actually we beat Zelda as promised. Amy and I went through all of Ganon's castle and the big final battle and everything. Having played through the whole game with her by this point, off the heels of her beating all of Breath of the Wild, there were definitely some moments where its age was showing, especially to someone who hadn't grown up playing it and, being used to kind of the finicky controls and everything, because I have very little problem with it in N64 games in general, but I can tell that N64 games are actually a little tricky for people who didn't necessarily grow up with them because of the interesting controller, I guess you could say. But yeah, the biggest relief to me was that not only did Amy like it, but like particularly the final castle and the final battle were both like really awesome. Like, she was super into it. The fight with Ganon, Ganondorf, and then the big Ganon fight and the escape from the castle and everything. Like, she was enjoying every part of that aesthetically, even though some of the earlier temples and everything were a little annoying. Like the last Ganon's castle actually like isn't too frustrating compared to like the Water Temple or the Shadow Temple, which IMO, like I said before, probably is, I think, is the worst and most annoying of the dungeons in Ocarina. But yeah, we beat that finally. As far as what else I've been working on, aside from obviously just the animation stuff, I've actually been doing a lot of writing, which has been nice, since we've been slowly kind of getting in all of the NPC characters that are going to have speaking lines with the tier that I'm working on. I've been starting to write the dialogue for all of the characters that were, all of the Kickstarter backer characters that have speaking lines, including all of the enemy ones that I've animated already as well. From the past, 8 months or whatever it's been. God, I can't believe it's already September. I looked up and I was like, wait a minute, it's September 1st. Oh shit, wow. But yes, I've been doing some writing and kind of slowly combing back through the full script for the Tome RPG as well. Because I actually haven't written like the big finale yet. So I've been kind of like leading up to that by writing all this other material ahead of time first, and then I'm going to go into that. But other stuff I've been working on, actually, while I didn't do any voice recording, I was spending quite a bit of time over actually the last month or so, now that it's finally just come out as of yesterday. I spent quite a bit of time with Scott Ferrix, Kaiser Neko of the Team 4-Star Boys, working on a massive amount of lip flap animations for Dragon Ball Z Abridged Episode 60. Just part 1. I've also done stuff for parts 2 and 3 as well. So, those are going to be ready to go within the next couple of weeks, in succession, as I think what the plan is that they're going to be releasing them every Friday, like with each week succeeding. So I've still got a little bit more left to do, but I've been working on that. And, of course, also Ox King has, a line or two in all of Episode 60, one of which was actually the joke right before the fucking theme song opener thing, which was hilarious to me. Yeah, that was fun. And yes, a big ups to those. Actually, I want to give a special shout out in particular. Paulo Cuevas, who is an excellent, really cool guy and an amazingly talented singer and musician, who does a bunch of really, really good English, Japanese, and Spanish covers of various anime songs and other stuff. He's really particularly well known for his covers of a lot of Dragon Ball songs. And I showed his stuff to Scott in particular a while ago. And when Cliff Eintunes was working on their English cover of Unmei no Hi, The Day of Fate, which is the Gohan Super Saiyan 2 transformation theme, they needed to get a vocalist for it, and Paulo was the first person that I thought of, and I wanted to suggest him. He is really, really, really cool. Paulo Cuevas, please look him up. They're going to have that cover, I think, up on as like a download very soon as well. But yeah, he's excellent. That honestly, more so than any other contribution that I made to this big season finale, I think that's the thing that I'm most proud of, is just because he's such a cool guy and he's so good, and I'm really happy. Actually, if you guys have listened to my Did You Know voice acting videos, I used his music for I think it was Dragon Ball Z Part 5 of the Did You Know voice acting series of those, because I've done so many of them. I'm up to 6 by now. Christ. Yeah, he's excellent. Go check out his stuff. Can't recommend him enough. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. I am going to have some announcements soon. Actually, I can say that within this lovely month of September, I'm going to be going to a couple of conventions very soon. Particularly, I will be at the Republic City Comic Con, and the other one I can't talk about just yet, but I hopefully will be able to very soon. But myself and Kira Buckland are both going to be going to Republic City Comic Con, I believe on the weekend of the 15th. I think we're just going to be there for the 15th, just that one day. But yeah, so looking forward to seeing people there, and that should be a fun little quick one as well. And I am going to have some announcements soon about a few projects that I've been working on lately that I'm very excited about, but can't say anything about them just yet. But that's pretty much it. I mean, you guys have if you've been tuning into my streams, you're mostly caught up with what I've been up to. But I did get a couple questions, so let's see what's in the mailbag. First question's from Mako GP. Have you ever read a manga and then read a Western comic and then realized, oh wait, it's left to right, reversing the direction that it's supposed to be? I haven't done that because for one thing, I'm just so used to reading, both Western and Eastern comics in the proper way for years. Although, funnily enough, I do remember I had a couple volumes of Inuyasha from way back in the day, one of which I think actually Mike got for me as like a birthday present or a Christmas present or something. And that was one of the few manga that Viz at the time actually published with the reversed sides that they're supposed to be on. They don't do that anymore, of course, but I think at the time they considered it like mainstream enough that they thought they needed to do that, and then they were like, oh, whoops, maybe we didn't need to do that after all. But no, I've not made that mistake in years, thankfully, because I'm well educated enough on my comics, even though I rarely keep up with any comics. In fact, actually, I think I might have answered this in the comments once, but literally the only comics that I'm actually keeping up with at all are One Piece, of course, Beyond the Canopy, and Flipside. That's pretty much it in terms of what I'm actually like, you know, what I'm actually like keeping up with as far as comics go. Oh, you know what? Actually, I say that I've not read through all of my copy of Diesel, Tyson Hess's comic, which is excellent, by the way. I definitely recommend you pick that up. And I think I might be a little behind on the Avatar: The Last Airbenders comics, which I think by this point the Korra comics have even come out now as well, which I wanted to get into, and I just completely forgot about them. So I should read more comics, honestly. I never think to because I'm an idiot. Next question is from Jonathan Carmona. Do you still watch your old Newgrounds animations like Parody Rangers and Brawl Taunts? No, I do not. Very, very once in a while, I will go back and watch like little bits of Parody Rangers the movie, which is the only one of that series that I like can semi-tolerate because I have some good memories of working on it and working on the people that I worked with on it as well. Because it was a good time to do, but it's not something that I'm super proud of. I do not go back and rewatch any of the Brawl Taunts because I don't like any of them. And even sometimes I'll just catch like little like glimpses of the Nintendo collabs because like I read all the comments that you guys leave on my videos and stuff, and oddly like the 3 Nintendo collabs actually got like a lot of like reposting of people like putting stuff on that. Like just like in the last like few months or so. I don't know why, but not that I don't appreciate it, but yeah. So but as far as going back and watching old stuff, really the only things that, and even believe it or not, even with Tome, I don't do it like super often. Like recently I felt just kind of like going through like a couple bits of episodes, like not even like the whole thing, just like, oh, I feel like watching this scene from this episode or whatever. Oh, I'm still proud of that or whatever. Not in like a narcissistic way, just like that's really the closest thing I have in terms of like, hey, yeah, I feel like doing this. Sure, why not? I'm so busy watching other stuff that isn't mine or working on stuff that will be mine, that I usually don't have much time or much interest in rewatching stuff that I've already made necessarily, because that's for you guys to watch, hopefully. Anyway, and then last but not least, from Flarebox, would love to hear you talk more about Octopath Traveler. I hadn't planned on using Therion until I heard how great you were as him. I appreciate that very much. I feel kind of bad because the truth is I actually don't have a whole lot to like say in terms of like funny stories or anything like that, regarding working on Octopath. I've kind of said everything that I needed to say already, or that I could say as it is. It was a huge honor getting to do it. The Square Enix people were very, very kind and super cool to work with. Terrence Stone, our voice director, was awesome. It was a big honor to work with him as well. And, and then even unexpectedly, like not only getting to play a character as cool as Therion, but also, getting thrown Matthias, one of the bosses, which I think actually, I might not have mentioned that on here before. I think on Twitter I have, but yeah, Matthias from, I think it's, I forget the character's name, but Christina V's character. I think that I'm the final boss of her campaign in the game. It was funny too because so many people have been saying very, very nice things and tweets and stuff and comments since the game came out, which I very much appreciate. Even if I try to respond to as many of them as I can. Interestingly, Brent Floss, Brent Black was playing through the game, and I guess he only went through one of the character, I think Tressa's campaign, and then so didn't actually get to spend a lot of time with the characters individually. But he saw my name in the credits, and he was like, "Wait a minute, is it that Chris Niosi? Oh my god!" And then I called him up and we talked for a little bit, and that's how we caught up for the first time in a while, Brent and I, because I've known him for a few years, and we had talked in a while, and that was like the speaking point. So I kind of owe it for reconnecting that friendship. That was nice. Anyway, shout out to Brent Floss. You're probably already subscribed to him also. He's a great guy, so he's cool. Anyway, that's about it. So that's gonna wrap it up for this week's Kirblog. Next week, I think I also don't have anything scheduled in terms of recording, so it may end up being another solid animation week. I don't have any of the stuff prepped yet for the next tier of character to do, which is the $60 guys. September's going to be also a pretty insane month for me, but I'm going to do my best to get as much work done as I can, like just in between everything. So between the two conventions, I might have some other stuff that I can't talk about just yet because it's not 100% set in stone yet. But a few different things. So it's going to be a little bit of a crazy month, but I'm going to do my best. That's it. Otherwise, I think tomorrow afternoon I might have time to stream again, working on the $90 character. So if you guys want to tune in for that, that'll be my first time in possibly ever even maybe that I've had like 7 days in a row worth of video content, which is not too bad if I do say so myself. So but that'll do it for now. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Be sure to leave a comment if you have any future questions for the mailbag section or anything like that, and I might address your question, or any future topics or anything you might want to hear about. And that'll do it. So I'll catch you on the next one. Fare thee well. Bye.